Okay, welcome back. The show is Africa Daily on Africa Global Radio. Today we're talking micro, small and medium-sized enterprises in Africa. Now, small and medium enterprises comprises the backbone of Africa's economy, accounting for approximately 90% of all companies and providing nearly 80% of the region's employment. I mean, that explains how huge this particular sector is. We're going to be talking about that right here, and hopefully also get experts, talk about financiers, talk about hack labs, empowering SMEs, and all of that. But let me begin with my colleague Hafiz Gunu, who is seated right here with me. Barry, how are you?
I'm well.
Yep. Have you ever tried or thought about
Running a business?
running a business? Yeah.
No.
Why?
No.
Why?
First off, I don't know. I just haven't thought about it.
Okay.
Yes, I just...
You have no interest?
Yes, I think that's one. Yes, one. Yes, it's running a business. I mean, personally, I don't think I know the first thing about running a business.
Okay.
But, well, unless I do try, but... Yeah.
Great. We're talking SMEs in Africa. Its contribution to, local economy. We know how it is actually. We know how huge it is.
Yeah.
On across the continent of Africa. There was, these the officers, those in the formal sector, will call it the backbone of the African economy. I think if they call it that way, they know the importance of this sector and the role it plays in Africa.
Yeah. SMEs, small and medium enterprises.
Right.
What are they to begin with? Because, when you talk SMEs, you want to understand what it means. But then you understand that with SMEs, it is one that defies easy definition. There is no one-size-fits-all definition for SMEs, because what constitutes an SME in, say, Ghana might not exactly fly as an SME in, say, the United States, because the parameters in the country, the characteristics of what constitutes an SME in countries differ from country to country. So you don't exactly have a one-size-fits-all definition to what constitutes an SME.
Okay.
So when you are talking the characteristics, you are talking about the number of employees. You are looking at say the annual sales they make, or the assets that they have. And these are all characteristics that factor into what exactly makes an SME is, based on the country and the way they operate. So, for instance, if you take the United States, now, as an SME, you shouldn't have a working population of more than 500.
Okay.
That's in the United States. In the EU, they're talking somewhere 250.
Okay.
Yes. Some countries have even took the whole thing down to about 200. Now, take a look at these parts. Some don't even have an employee.
It's just a one-man business is running.
Exactly. So that's even world standard. So exactly. So if you are going by that parameter, you realize that a lot of the businesses we see around don't exactly fall into their definition of what an SME
is. Yeah.
Exactly. So that's why I said it differs from country to country.
Right.
But then again, there's an important fact you stated there. It constitutes about 90% of businesses in Africa. Now, what exactly is the attraction really? When you talk about SMEs, because yes, I get the allure, the attraction about having your own business and having to work on your own terms. Yes, not having to account or answer to anybody. I get that, but what exactly is the attraction? Because beyond all of these things, because that is not to say that operating a business is all rosy. Okay, there are definitely pitfalls. There are challenges that you would encounter, but very little is said about it. Yes, but then looking at the importance of SMEs to begin with, it's one of those areas that, when you look closely, tends to encourage innovation. It's very flexible, and for that reason, it's able to respond to the needs of the markets. Right. Even before the giant corporations do. Yes, and that is one very important factor about it that you can notice. Also, it's one of those areas that sort of stimulates competition.
Okay.
Yes, because without them, you realize that the giant companies or corporations would have monopoly over a lot of stuff. Yeah, so it's so easy to be able to access services and products just by engaging them rather than going to these multilateral companies and everything. Yes, but then like I mentioned, there are a lot of challenges that comes with running businesses that I will look at in the second part of my submission anyway.
Okay, the show is Africa Daily on Africa Global Radio. We're talking SMEs on the continent of Africa. Well, if you have a business that you're running, you may want to share that with us. Tell us what business is it, and what type of products do you produce? Where? If you're if you're in Africa, if you're in the diaspora, tell us what it is like. But yeah, they will tell you it should be a minimum of 500 employees. Here, it's a one-man soldier thing. He gets it, he has his bicycle, and he's going from place to place, and he's good to go. Epiphania. Yep, let's get on to business. Small and medium, scale enterprises in Africa.
Yeah, I think they are doing a good job. Lately, you have a lot of them. And one thing I've realized is the fact that, like I was saying, especially in this COVID-19, more of the private companies or the startups are actually contributing to the economy. You look at it and realize that most of them are bringing enough, and they are the ones holding majority of, some of these economies is made up a lot of private companies. They're the ones whose contributions actually makes the economy float or go on like that. So it's good when you have them in a company. But most importantly, it's good to have an atmosphere or something like an umbrella that makes it safe and also allows them to actually be able to grow, to be able to develop, to flourish, and makes things easy for them. Take Rwanda, for example, like this, because of course, Kagame understands what it takes or what it goes into being an SME. He actually has taken down the taxes that comes on importing raw materials that these companies or enterprises use to make their products, so that it makes it easy for them to be able to make something when they actually do the production. Okay. Because if they're going to pay so much on taxes alone just to get the raw materials, now that indirectly affects the price of what they are going to put out there, because I'm paying so much for taxes just to be able to clear it at the port and bring it in. Now, when I finish it, I also have to add that quota into it so that I can make enough for myself. So I, the person making it, do not run at a loss. So I think it's a good thing he's done as well. When you look at Kenya like this, they have the Kenyan startup. It's an organization. I've forgotten the full name, but it's like Kenyasa or something. And it's an umbrella that keeps all of these SMEs there. It gives them training, helps them develop skills, and then also gives them access to finance. Sometimes it's one thing to be able to know people. It's one thing to be able to sit there and say, okay, I know what I'm doing. I've got a map. I'm good about it. But then having a platform that opens you up to people who have the money that you need to keep your business going is another thing. And that's one thing that this whole Kenya MSMEs organization actually does for the enterprises in Kenya. So they teach them, they invest in them, and then they give them opportunity for them to actually come and pitch to people who can invest or put money in their business so the business actually grows. And I feel it's something we could have across different African countries and different places. In the diaspora, we have, I mentioned the setting, I've forgotten the name. I mentioned the setting one. They've created a platform that brings together all these small-scale businesses. Okay. So you come together, it's like networking, and then also we exchange goods, services, and then also education. So we impart into you. Now we've created something, and it's solely for African Americans, blacks. Okay. Yeah, so you go there, anybody on there is actually a small business owner, and then they are black. So then they teach them, you talk to them, you can interact with them. Okay, how do you do this? How do you do that? Why don't you try this? But all of these things help these companies grow. Right.
Okay, you can share your take with us, any concerns, any contributions. Do so through our Facebook page, Africa Global Radio, or on Twitter, AF Global Radio. Use the hashtag The Africa Daily Show, or via our WhatsApp number, +23320 706460. The show is Africa Daily. Mame.
Hi, Barry.
I mean, you have a lot of friends into SMEs, huh?
Yes, I do.
What are some of the things they share with you, like to tell you? Or you don't talk to them, or you talk to... What do you talk to them about?
I mean, my friends talk.
Your friends,
every time they talk about their business, they're like, oh, share this for me. Oh,
they want you to help them. So social media here.
So, advertising, share it for me, tell people about my business and all of that. And I think it's a good thing. I mean, in as much as SMEs have been there for a long time, because I mean, even traders or market women
fall within certain categories under that.
Yes, because I mean, they are doing their own thing.
Yeah. It's a
in their own
1 month thing.
space. It's a 1 month thing. And like Hafiz said, when you go to the West, it's like an SME should have about 500 employees.
Yeah.
But when you come down here, an SME is basically somebody starting something to support themselves.
Right.
And I believe, in as much as it has been there for a while,
Right.
it is now. I think it is being done on a larger scale now, because of unemployment.
Right.
It's like most people are starting things on their own because I cannot afford to stay in the house for 1 year, 2 years after university. So then I have to look for what am I passionate about, or what I think, or what do people need? Which kind of goods do people need? Which kind of services do people need?
Right.
And how can this service be provided to them?
Okay.
I mean, one of my friends is into purchasing things for people, groceries.
Yeah.
And I think she looked at the need. She looked at it from a point where most people won't have the time to go to the market.
Right.
So then they will need somebody who will buy them produce. Because if I'm a working class woman, or I'm a working class man, and I go to work Monday to Friday.
Yeah. Hardly would you get time.
How would I get time?
To go to the
when would I
market?
get time to go to the market to get the things that I need? So I believe most of these things are basically about people looking at what society needs. And I think this is something that should be taught in schools. In a sense that if you're given a little knowledge about starting a business, because you think, oh, somebody will say, I did general arts in school, I wasn't thought about starting a business, so I have no idea. But if we are inculcating little bits and pieces of education about how to start your own business in schools, yes, then in as much as I have a university degree, I'm not waiting till I find a white-collar job before I start working.
Okay. Great thought and take right there, Mami. Thank you. And we have a couple of voices here that we would be airing in a bit. And these are two individuals telling us about their business. I mean, we would also have, what do you call it, some to also feature right here in the studios to talk about business, as well as get other people, because aside the SMEs as well, one of the major issue or the core problem here is about the starting capital. So there are other institutions who pose as, what do you call it, donors. Let me put it that way. They support your business, or they give you that startup capital. Mami talked about the Ninja people in Abuja, and what was it yesterday? Yeah, and now they are helping startups, if not the ones that have already established themselves over a period of time, but very fresh ideas that has not been put out there yet. You bring it to them. If it's feasible, they do all the analysis and everything, and then it proceeds. So let me play this clips that I have here. We'll get back in-house for our conversation. Let me begin with this one.
Hello, I'm Eugenia, and the name of my business is Yellow Market. Yellow Market, what we do is that we provide groceries to people at their doorstep. The purpose of the business is to help people avoid the stress they go through in getting their groceries. So we shop for you, whatever food stuff that you want. When you place your order, we shop for you. We make sure we clean and we pack and then deliver it to you at your doorstep. The purpose of the business, as I said, is to help people avoid the stress that they go through, and not just looking at the stress, but also there's a need for people to eat healthy. So in as much as we are helping people avoid the stress, we are also campaigning we eating healthy living. Yeah, so that's the purpose. And so far it's been quite challenging, because from the year 2018 to now, there's been lots of ups and downs. Because when I started the business, it was something new. I started a business at University of Ghana, Legon, at the campus, and it was quite challenging. It was something new. People weren't used to, and I had to let people understand how the business is going to operate, the purpose and everything. It took some time for people to really get it, and it's been challenging, but the whole journey has been amazing because now you don't have to really tell people talk much because people have come to understand the whole business and they really appreciate it because there's right now there are lots of career women, there are lots of each and every day we go through lots of busy schedules and all that, so we've come to help this help people to avoid this busy schedule, this stress that we have to go through. Yeah, so that's the whole purpose of the business.
So my name is Nitaki. I own a laundry business called Mr. T's Laundry. And this business has been an idea from my first year in the university. That was way back in 2010, where a friend and myself wanted to do something together. And he asked me what I wanted to do. Then I had noticed this particular business, Wise Way Cleaners. They were big, they were cleaners, they were in the laundry business. And I really liked their model and how they handled their business and everything. And the more reason why I even decided to go down that line is because I like to clean things. I like to use white clothes and sheets and everything a lot. So I like to clean them. I like to see them look clean. So then I decided to go that way. But unfortunately, life, so many things coming in between, so we couldn't start. And somewhere early this year, I got a machine and I was like, you know what, it's about time. Let me just start pushing this thing. So I started somewhere in March. For like a whole month, I just had one customer. And God being so good, fortunately, business is growing. I've realized that there are certain things I could do, like using social media to push my business and everything. So fortunately for me, my business is growing, and I would like to encourage anyone else who would want to start something. Like, no time limits or no timelines. You can start whenever you feel you're ready and all that. And that's what I've done, and it's working for me. So.
Hi guys, my name is Joey B, aka your friend is saying Beezy. Log on to Africa Global Radio. A story, a growth, a future.
Okay, so two different entrepreneurs telling us about their business, and there's one thing that I noticed. Mommy mentioned that too, about the use of social media. Let me just go away from the tarred road to the untarred road a bit. Would you say social media has helped in terms of what do you call it?
Greatly.
Because let's talk about let's go 10 years ago or 15 years ago, where people are still even in this small scale thing as compared to now. Social media has really done much in that regard.
Social media has been a game changer, especially for the business community. Yes. Previously, previously businesses had to rely on the traditional media, where you'd have to
pay very expensive prices on
and
that.
you're not even sure to get your target customers.
Exactly.
Because, I mean, depending on what product or service you're providing, you're looking to reach a certain demographic. You're not sure. You're just putting it out there. But what social media has come to do is, giving business or entrepreneurs the opportunity to actually tailor, to their products,
people they're even familiar with,
to their own community, to their tribe, as Madam Yasmin will say. So it has been a huge game changer in the way businesses are run these days. So I mean,
okay,
don't just take away the negatives, but the positives are huge.
Great. But there are still challenges here.
Absolutely.
What why do we still see this?
Huge challenges.
And starting up your own business.
Now, before I come to challenges, I think I just want to comment on a little bit on what Mommy said about going into running your own business simply because you are unemployed, but that isn't the reason why that isn't the only reason people decide to start a business.
Okay.
Believe it or not, some genuinely love what they do, and in fact they actually identify a need and try to fix it. So and that is how come they start these businesses. Yes. So it's not just born out of the fact that I'm jobless.
Yeah.
Okay,
I mean, just like the lady talked about how she packaged groceries for people in the office and and all.
Because I remember a story in 2015. I don't know if you remember that story, where 2 Ghanaians were arrested in Amsterdam. And what was their offense? They were pounding fufu on the 7th floor. so their neighbors called the cops on them.
Yeah.
And they were telling the cops they should allow them eat before they take them away. So, and clearly you realize that
guy for chop, huh?
exactly. They were pounding fufu there.
Right.
You realize that, I mean, meat fufu would have been
The best solution.
Best solution.
Yeah, to prevent all of these back and
someone
forth.
saw this and identified the need and tried to fix it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. And there's another story about, the guy that some even stumble on them because of a personal challenge. This guy, I think the story is even on Africa Global Radio. You can check it out. Yes, about this guy that is into watches. Yes, caveman watches.
Yeah, caveman. Yeah,
Brand of watches.
Very familiar
and
with
all it
caveman.
started was him taking pictures of watches at a boutique, selling it, and then decided to contact, suppliers and, things that took off.
Caveman is huge now in Ghana.
Exactly. So, these are individuals that somehow try to meet a certain need.
Right.
At some point in time. Yeah, but talking about challenges, like you mentioned, yes, I think you even mentioned one of the biggest challenges, that is access to credit facilities, especially on soft repayment terms. Because they would loan you certain facilities and then paying it, they are hounding you left, right, and center. And so scaling up becomes a problem.
Yeah.
Becomes a huge problem. And for some, away from even the credit facilities, yes, when they eventually scale up and they become
big,
say big like 200 or be able to employ like 300. Now, how do you run it? Because then it's not just the business, you have people involved. How do you manage all these people? That is where your leadership style comes into question. Yes, how you run, and how you are able to bring all these people together, these individuals, and be able to get them under a certain umbrella. Let them think a certain way that you want them to think.
Right.
Let them see the vision that you are employing.
Because you're definitely going to get that opposing conversation.
There is thing we did in management, the Blake and Morton managerial grid, and they talked about 3 leadership styles. You can talk about the country club managerial style or the leadership style, and this is the style of leadership where the manager is interested in being liked by the employees. So when the employees are seated and or looking moody, they are like, he's around you guys and it's like, oh, how are you? Have you eaten? What are you doing?
Lighten up the day generally.
Exactly. So basically, they are more interested in the employees than the business. So that's the country club style. Now you have the produce or perish, and these guys, they are not interested in you. It's about the business. Even if your mother is in the hospital, you're supposed to report for it.
Right.
So that is the
not healthy.
Yes, exactly. And the last one, you have the the impoverished style, and there's the sort of leader that doesn't care about the business or the people. It's like everyone is freestyling. There isn't a sense of direction. So so when you get so big, all these are strategies you would need to employ. How am I running the business? How am I leading people? Of course, there's the issue of strategy. There's also the issue of, measuring your results at some point. So running a business entails a lot. So the reason they get so big at some point and you realize somehow they are no longer in existence and you're like, what's happening? Yes, they've been taken out of competition. That's because, it's like this started out as something he was going to do in his backyard somewhere. It just got big and they didn't know how to handle it.
Right.
And they've had to face the consequences. Yeah.
Okay. Right. Let me bring in my colleague, Epi. Have you have tried being, into SME, or she's. Correct me if I'm wrong. Why? You're making it as if you're climbing Mount Everest. If I have, so correct me. Are you still operating?
Yes.
Okay, good. So, just share with us. How was it like starting? Did you save? Did you have a piggy bank?
No.
Is this something that
What
you
is
thought?
piggy bank? Here we know susu box. What is this?
Okay. Okay, right. Anyway, continue.
I invested my salary.
Oh.
Initially, when I wanted to start, I started off freely. I just used to do it for friends and family. And it was something okay. And somebody was like, you could make a business out of this. And I was just thinking, how? Because I was mainly focused on the happiness aspect of it. I mean, people are happy.
What would you
when
call that?
give
What would
them-
you call that? The what? The what? The first one, the first category, the business thing you talked about?
The country club style.
Yeah, she was in the country club era at that time. I mean, it's just for fun. Let's just get it for fun.
Yeah, I was happy because people are happy when you give them a gift. Like
Right.
you buy let's say tomorrow you buy a book and bring to Hafiz, so he stopped killing the plants. He'll be very happy and thankful to you. Now that
Right.
joy will be etched on his face. But then after some moments, he gets used to that gift and it disappears. And
Okay.
it was that moment, that moment of joy that I actually wanted to capture and keep forever, like memories in people's heads.
Okay.
So then I started it out like that, and you go and people tell you, oh, you need to save this amount of money, and they're mentioning thousands and thousands of cities, and that I'm sitting there, there are thousands of cities I don't have, and I'm just thinking, how am I going to be able to? So a friend was like, you can start small, and I thought, okay, then what I'll do is, anytime I got my salary, I just went straight. I already put down a list of the things I needed to start. I started doing my research and everything, reaching out to people who are already in the industry to see what I could pick. And then anytime I got paid, straight that very day, I go straight to the shops,
Go
places
get what
I
you need to buy.
I go get what I need to buy. So
Right.
then for the rest of the month, as to how I manage, only God knows. But
Only
that's
God
what,
knows.
yes, that's
It's a
what I
miracle.
used to do. And then I started getting some of the things. And gradually, one day, I just put an image, and people liked it.
Right.
And okay, fine. I want some. I want some. And I mean, this Mother's Day, I had an order for somebody in Norway.
Wow.
And it was just weird because I didn't think that, okay, it's going to go that far. But I think it's also good. For the other one, I mean, I do have a couple of them. The other one is fruit and roots. It has to do with juices, fresh fruits, sobula, and all those things.
Okay.
And I used to do it also for free. But somebody tries it and they're like, look, this is good. I want 100 bottles. I want 200 bottles. So then people are actually about to have events, and then they call you and tell you, oh, I want this number of bottles.
Okay.
Or how much can I get for a gallon?
Right.
And that's how it is. But it wasn't easy. Because there's no place you can just go and be like, oh, I'm a startup. Oh, I'm now starting all this. I need money or something.
Right.
You don't get that.
Talk about that particular issue. I mean, most people talk about this. And surprisingly, at the same time, you hear conversations on radio, on television, people talking about, oh, I went there and I got it. But when you go on the ground, it seems to be the opposite conversation where people say, oh, you go, they don't mind you. They want this, they want that. Things I cannot provide, you know. So it's a bit dicey there. Which one do we agree with? Is it the ones where you hear on TV that, oh, when you go there, they will serve you better? And the ones outside...
I don't get your question. So
what I'm saying is, she talked about the availability, the accessibility to capital.
Okay.
To start with, okay? You hear on radio, on TV, people talk about, oh, I got help from this, I got help from that, maybe it's this company, that company, and everything. But outside, you meet people physical who are into, you know, SMEs and managing their own business. They tell you how difficult it is to acquire loans. Because these bigger institutions talk about how ready they are. Yet, is it that they're not telling us the right thing or what?
It's not just about, you know, larger corporate institutions being able to access loans and you are left out. Of course, it's one of the reasons, but another reason is the issue of bad loans.
Okay.
Where, you know, some organizations or some startups take up these monies and are unable to pay back the loans with the interest or even at the stipulated time. And so these banks are, and some, even when they come, they don't have the required collateral to be able to access some amount of money that they want to actually scale up. You know, you want to go big, but what exactly are you bringing in return? If you don't bring it back so that at least of equal value, that we can, you know, we'll be able to, you know, get back our money.
Right.
So some of them aren't able to do it. And if you look at the interest rates too, it's another challenge. I mean, you're taking 500 Ghana cedis and you're returning how much? What? 700 Ghana cedis. Or
That's way too huge.
That's huge. And how much am I making anyway?
Not too far from that. Mami, we normally talk about, yes, in as much as it's huge in Africa, 90% backbone of the economy, very, very huge. But at the same time, I think it actually cropped up in one of our conversations about how some actually overprice their products. Let's be real. it's there.
Yeah.
Some do overprice their products and they want patronage because one would say.
But what exactly are you looking for?
You compare the locally produced.
Are you willing to pay
products.
more for the convenience?
Hold on. Hafiz.
It's not
But what I'm
about
saying,
convenience, we're talking about
if we're championing our own, we talk about made in Ghana every now and then. Let's made in Nigeria, made in this. But then you still go in for the products, and then you realize that it is that expensive, maybe even double the price of an imported product.
Sorry,
Epi.
not to BJ. I had a
Right.
problem when I was trying to price my products. But one thing,
Hmm.
so let's say I'm going to produce something for you, and the things you want in what I'm producing for you, I'm spending about 300 cedis to
Okay.
get those items.
Cost of production.
How much am I going to make? How much am I supposed to add to it?
Hmm.
And you've not even charged for the time it takes, because you have to calculate the number of hours you spend to create one of the whole thing or whatever
Okay.
you do. And the cost of production here
Okay,
in
I
our
want-
base Ghana is
it's high.
expensive, if we're supposed to be honest, because you're going to buy some of these petty things before you are done, before printing. And people talk about good packaging, branding. All those
Yeah.
things are a lot. So if somebody wants to make a good product and give you good branding, you want the top notch.
Yeah.
And the person is a startup, you're going to pay more.
So what? Okay, mommy, come in.
Well, I think since we are into championing buying locally manufactured things, the pricing becomes a problem. Because if I am going to buy an imported good and it's somewhat of the same quality as the one I'm getting locally, and the one I'm getting locally is more expensive than the one that is imported, I will certainly
Going
buy
for
the one that I can afford. Because then, I mean, most people don't buy locally manufactured things because they think the imported ones are the original ones.
Exactly. Yeah, that
So-
notion.
So why am I getting a locally manufactured one for this amount when I can get an imported one for a lower amount?
And you know, the idea people have out there is when it's produced locally, which is actually a wrong perception, that it should be cheaper. That shouldn't be the case.
You see?
But then
You're not saying it should be cheap.
It exceeds certain price level.
And you're like,
But you see, the thing is, let's say maybe something that is being produced locally and the person is a startup. Most of these local ones are now starting most of the businesses.
Okay.
As putting them against international corporations that
That are
have
bigger.
lots bigger. They put a lot into marketing, a lot into shipping, a lot into all these things. It's more like it's unfair to them. Because for a
It's unfair to the
corporation,
startup.
yes, because for a
Okay.
corporation that is allocating, let's say, $1,000 for marketing, or let's say $1,000 for production, cost of
Okay.
production, and this one that just has, let's say, 500 CDs or 1,000 CDs, to be able to make the same thing of the same quality
Okay.
of a bigger corporation, which is
Okay.
out, not even here.
That is very.
That is unfair.
justifiable. That is justifiable. Hafiz, come in. I have a question for you. Come in real quick.
Yes,
so we can-
I mean,
running
you
out of
made a
time.
great point about the cost of production. Because, I mean, you can't, that's what the giant corporations do. Usually when they find a competition, they price you out of it.
Yes.
So, I mean,
So
if-
they
what-
reduce their price.
Exactly. They reduce it to the point they know you can't compete. So what it means is that you would
A
have to
commodity
stop.
of
Exactly.
equal
Value,
quality
yes.
value.
Exactly.
Yes.
So when they reduce it, they can afford to reduce and still make, take the hit.
Profit.
Isn't
You
that
cannot.
killing? Isn't that killing the prospects of the SMEs?
So that's why it's incumbent on the government of the day
Oh,
Right. The atmosphere.
to create that
hallelujah!
condition.
Yeah, right.
Because when you create a conducive atmosphere, what you are saying is that yes, we are also
It's open.
We are
Everybody
asking
should get
people
on
to come
board.
in, but then we are also protecting our own.
Right.
So what it means is that initiatives such as granting them tax holidays, for instance,
Tax
that-
waivers and all.
Exactly.
But I've heard a couple. the
It
government
helps.
budget.
It helps in boosting the
The
confidence,
local
exactly,
SME, right.
and adding value to what they are producing. Because I mean, if I take it from the farm and if adding value to it would make me struggle to get
Because
customers,
honestly-
of course I'm not going to do that.
Honestly, that happens to be like the major conversation. You talk about local brand. Oh yeah, it's good, but it's expensive. But it's not their faults too. Sometimes I think because like Epi mentioned, what do you want me to put together? How much do I take home? Because don't forget my workmanship. That's one. The materials I'm supposed to buy, I need to at least make something from it, and then I don't get
So
anything at the end of the
when
day.
you find a customer base, when you have your customer base that's continually patronize what you offer,
That is when you can do something
you-
about the price.
exactly. Then you,
Discounts, loyalty.
seriously, then exactly, then you must be very lucky because a lot of the time, yes, you'd have to appreciate what they are doing.
Exactly.
Some simply just make a conscious effort. Look, I'm going to buy made in Ghana products. Okay, forget the other brands. It's just this
Made
I
in
want.
Ghana, yeah.
And they are very deliberate about their purchases.
Right.
Okay, and unlike others that are freeloaders, okay, the moment they get something that is cheaper, they're out.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
it depends on the customer behavior. Anyway.
Yeah.
I think even with the whole thing about outpricing you with the big corporations,
Okay.
the key thing with running a business, and if you want to make money, sometimes there's a concept that, okay, if I increase the price, I may get the money one time. But then also, if you want to sustain and make enough money, then you don't increase the price on a unit product. You make the money out of the volumes that go out.
Okay.
So probably instead of selling the products for 10 cedis for one,
Okay.
then maybe I make a profit of 2 cedis off it or 5 cedis off it. I can reduce it to you and sell it to around 7 cedis or 6 cedis. Now I'm not going to look at making money from one single product. I look at how I make the money in the volumes. So if I sell thousands of that at 7 cedis, I make my money out of that bulk. That is
Okay.
how most of the big corporations make their money.
And quickly on pricing, you see, there's this simple thing in economics. When you are making a market entry, okay, there are two strategies. It's either you lower your price or you increase it. Now, when you lower your price, or you start,
Don't worry.
so let's say something costs, say, 100 cedis on the market, and you are coming in onto the scene,
As a freshman.
yes, and you decide to make it 50 Ghana cedis.
Oh, rush and buy.
Exactly. Now, you know what you're doing. Now, you get into the market, 50 Ghana cedis, and slowly,
You increase.
You increase.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you get me.
I think that is
Well,
what.
at the end of the day,
Yeah.
you get the customer base,
And
and
then you lock them.
slowly, exactly. Believe me, there are some customers that will still stay. Those are the loyal customers,
Regardless of the price.
regardless, because they enjoy doing business with
With
you.
you.
At some
Right.
point, there's that rapport. Okay, so they wouldn't want to even trade it up.
Okay.
Then there's another strategy where you decide to come with a very high price into the market, even higher than usual. And usually they do this because they are targeting a specific
Group of people, yeah.
So
They get them. They get the
Exactly.
customers to pay.
So, and you know this idea that, oh, anything that's expensive is good.
It's good, yeah.
Luxury.
So we'll definitely go for it.
Yes. So there's
Come
that
with me.
category that feel that, well, so long as I can access it and Mamiawa can't access it,
Yeah.
I mean, it's good.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can rub it in her face that
It
is
feels,
expensive.
it feels good.
So they would go
I
and
feel
get
it's
it.
personal
And that
now.
is and that is the customer base you are targeting.
Right,
So
right.
we are not talking.
Okay,
We
great
actually
conversation right there.
Getting local organizations that are doing that right now. A group of business, so like a clique of them, you go into it, you realize that now they all interrelate on one another. All of them are homegrown, local businesses. If what I don't do, Hafiz does. If somebody comes to me what he does, I take him straight to Hafiz.
Right.
But then also what we do is we use the luxury brand.
Okay.
So then I know that what I'm selling for 100 cedis, the average Ghanaian can't afford it. So if you come and you complain about overpricing, I don't even need to explain. I put luxury in front of the word.
And you
So
know
then
what
it's
it
for
is.
the big people, those who earn thousands of money. That's
Yeah.
way they make money for the same thing you can get outside at a
Okay.
less cost.
Okay, so just a bit of economics right there. My half is an epi. I mean, they've have experiences about it. But, well, Mami would also be telling us about it. She's actually coming up with a social media app. So watch out for that. The show was Africa Daily on Africa Global Radio. But we'll try to get micro financiers as well. Those who actually support, small and medium scale enterprises here, to also help them start, boost, and all of that. I mean, it's something that's very capital intensive, or even without it, you definitely need that money to start it up with. As well as we'll look at also labs, hack labs, SME empowerment, buddies that are supporting, giving ideas on what you need to do, that little capital of yours, where you can put it to actually yield you that results you're looking out for. We get that here on the show, hopefully tomorrow on the Africa Daily Show.
If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it, subscribe, and share.